Let's go to my third guy. We are now talking Bol Bol. Bol Bol has completely changed the trajectory of his career at this point. He's averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds. If you look over the course of the last few games, particularly where like Paulo Banchero's been out and they've really expanded his role a little bit, over the course of the last 9 games, he's averaged 16 points, 9 rebounds with 1.2 blocks per game. He's shooting 48% from three in that time, 57% from the field. Look, it's just a funky skill set on some level, right? Like he is 7 foot tall. He can handle the ball. He can shoot it from distance. He can kind of block shots a little bit inside, although we'll talk about the defense here in a minute. This is a guy though, that coming into this season, if you add all 3 of his previous seasons in terms of points per game, they still don't equal the 13.1 that he's averaging. He's undeniably broken out in a substantial way and has gotten a real chance to thrive in Orlando in this funky scheme that has allowed bigs to be able to handle the ball and be able to create on their own. And, you know, frankly, I don't know how much he would thrive in another position, but in Orlando, he has truly thrived, and I've really enjoyed watching him get the opportunity to expand and showcase the unique skill set that he's capable of.
Yeah, if I told you last year that Bol Bol would have a 5-game stretch where he averaged 17 and 10 on pretty good efficiency, you'd probably like stare at me cross-eyed. That's happened this year. That's his last 5 games right now. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is I'm just happy that he's healthy and actually getting to play, because it's been the problem the last couple of years. Like, it's been health, but it feels like anytime there was an opportunity, like his health became an issue. And then clearly he just was not an NBA player the last couple of years, if we're being frank.
No.
Like, I think when he got opportunities, it was an issue. I don't want to sound harsh and say that we need to pump the brakes, but I do think like you mentioned, I think it's important to bring this up with like a certain lens. The defense has been like, even though he's blocking shots, I think he's been a really fun way of like looking at how interesting defense can play when you have the kind of length and mobility that Orlando has. Because to me, like, I don't think that he's been a particularly good defender. Like, I think the awareness.
No, I think he's been pretty bad.
Like, yeah, no, I knew you were going to agree with me. Like, I think the blocks have been nice. He can do some good stuff in recovery. He had a really sick chase down the other day. But again, it's just like his mobility still is not awesome. He doesn't see things super well as they play out and develop. But again, like, just the being out there has been really nice. The offense is where, like, I legitimately think he has utility as a just kind of hybrid, what the fuck do you do to defend him type player. A lot's going to depend on the shot for me, because for me, the shot is still like his release kind of takes a while to load up. I don't think the shot is super like variable right now, but if he catches the ball and just does one dribble, perfect. Like, I think when like if he catches the ball and just gets one dribble and he dunks, like that's legit. Like, there's been like a lot of his stuff has been so good attacking an already bent defense or running in transition or just being kind of a havoc creator on offense, attacking the glass, being he's just been kind of like we talked a little bit about with Lowry. Like, he's been fantastic at using his size and being out there and being like, I'm massive. I'm going to use my size and my length to score over you or even through you. And I think that is what's really stood out to me and been impressive. I will say though, when he more than one dribble, and I think the best way that I describe this to people is if he has one dribble or less, it's the greatest play you've ever seen. One dribble or more, and it might be the worst play that's happened in the last 15 possessions. Like, it's a lot. What happens off the dribble is just extremely unexpected, but whatever is going to happen. And I think trying to figure that out is still going to be interesting. But
right.
Again, just him being out there has been tremendous to see.
Yeah. Like,
I don't mean to like totally hedge and like undersell everything. It's just like, I do worry about, I saw somebody say like a really big account yesterday was running with well, what does Wemby do that Bol Bol can't? And I was like, let's chill a little bit here.
No, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like that is genuinely like crazy pants. Wembanyama can create off the bounce in like real tangible ways in terms of like breaking down players off the dribble, creating his shot that way, and then finishing. Bol Bol, like Mark said, is best attacking a bent defense, dribbling once, getting into like that little floater range. I think that's been like the coolest thing I've seen him do this year.
Yeah.
Is just that, catches the ball, pump fakes, attacks a closeout, extends that dribble out in such a substantial way because he's so long. And it takes him one dribble to get to like within 5 feet, 7 feet of the rim, and then can just take that little pop floater shot that he has, which is really, really like stuff that you don't see 7-footers do, just point blank, right? Like that is a weird skill set. Like, let's just be real about that. And I think that everything he does, it's almost like proto Wemby without being nearly as effective because he's just not the ball handler and nowhere near the defender that Vic is. Like, just not even in the same ballpark. That's the difference between the two. And whereas Bol is more of like a forward/wing, Wembanyama is like a true center that can like create all these shots, right? Because of the defensive ability. I don't know how scalable Bol is to like a winning situation yet. I do want to learn more about that. But for a guy that like was almost out of the NBA, like as of last year, undeniably, he's taken an enormous leap. He's taken a bigger leap than anybody. This is like, back when Devontae Graham was like almost out of the league and then jumped into being like the Hornets starting point guard and looked great. Like this is the biggest leap I've seen in a long time, just to like becoming a real NBA player. Bol Bol's like undeniably a real NBA player, and his ability to shoot, I think he genuinely does help your offense out there. He needs to improve his processing, the way he reads the game, the way he makes passing decisions, and the way that he makes quick read opportunities. But like I don't see any reason. Part of the problem with Bol Bol is, I guess, part of the problem with all of this is throughout the entirety of his career, going back to when he was 15 years old, it's always been this enormous hype train, right? People refuse to accept him for what he is and try to like, because his game is so novel, expand into looking into the future of what he can be, or like just kind of frankly like rate the wrong things improperly, like weight them the wrong way. Like the fact that he can dribble at 7 foot tall is super cool. The fact that he blocks the occasional weak side shot is super cool. Because he was like a top 5 prospect in his class, and because he emerged so quickly by being so tall, I think that it threw the expectations game out of whack for Bol, and it kind of causes people to not just accept what he is, as opposed to what he, as opposed to like what he was supposed to be, I guess, maybe. I always have been a little bit lower on Bol, I guess. Like I had him like, I think in the 40s pre-draft, which is like, I had him like right around where he was taken. And I have no reason not to stand by that. Like I rank players based off of what is their value going to be to the team that drafts them, not off of like long-term upside or whatever. Right. What is the value to the team that selects them? For Denver, they didn't really get anything out of Bol Bol at the end of the day. So I feel pretty good with where I ranked him.
You can't forget about the one starting lineup in the very first game of the bubble during the bubble preseason when they start. What was it? Paul Millsap was at point guard. It was like,
it was like, ridiculous.
That was
Paul Millsap.
A wild time.
Paul Millsap was the smallest person in that starting lineup. It was like Bol, it was Jokic, it was Millsap, it was Michael Porter, and it was someone else.
I think it was Zeke Naji too. Or no, was it? No, it wasn't Naji yet.
I don't think Zeke was in the NBA yet.
Yeah, Naji was drafted the next year, but it was somebody tall. Point being.
Yeah. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I say all this to say, like, this is a cool story for like a second round pick to have now emerged into this. Like, this is awesome. This is great. Like, if you get anybody who goes in the second round, it's fucking hard to fight your way up to the NBA. It's hard to establish yourself into a position where you're averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds and you're getting 20 plus minutes a night. It's a battle. It's a grind. You look at like what the hit rate is for second round picks, especially second round picks that go after pick 40. It is hard. We should take this Bol Bol story and just be excited about it.
Yes.
And take it on its merits for what it is. This is a guy that was taken in the second round that always had a lot of talent, that is starting to really come through on that talent. And we should just be pumped about that for what it is in terms of him turning into a rotation player. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Like, this is a terrible team that he's playing on. And let's see where he can land at the end of the season, or land next season, or land whenever he latches onto a good team, or when Orlando is good. I think that that's more in line with the expectation I have for Bol, and why I'm able to just be so excited about this, despite the fact that there are like real concerns. Like, we're not denying that there are real concerns here, but just look at where he came from. Like, he came from the second round, battled his way for 3 years into becoming an NBA player. Looks like an NBA player now. That's a great story.
Yeah. No, I'm in the same boat as you, man. It's been very fun to watch, and we'll have to do an entire pod on the hype train someday, because I think you said a lot of great things there.
The hype train is someone who lives like in the draft and sees the way it affects players. It drives me crazy.
Yep.
Because, like, honestly, like, I'm going to get like hate for saying what I just said about Bol Bol, probably, because I'm not saying he's a future all-star.